What is going on, everybody? Christmas came early this year, or Christmas came twice this year. I cannot imagine anyone else. There was definitely, in my opinion, not another Power 5 school that was interested in hiring Geoff Collins. I mean, you could not have written a script any better. Any better. North Carolina is addicted to underperforming and just having a horrible, horrible defense. Let's go to the chat and we'll talk about it. KS says, LMAO, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, I was doing something when this news broke and I couldn't get the video out quicker. If you haven't seen the video, I will show you how it begins. And it probably hasn't got the HD up yet. I will show you the beginning of the video. Let me switch screens here. Oh my goodness. That was my reaction. I was just like, you're telling me of every defensive coordinator you could have hired, Andrew Thacker would be a better hire. All right. Anthony Fain just crying, laughing emoji. CDog18 says they're trying to unlose to Geoff Collins. Yes, the great Geoff Collins said you can never unlose. Or the great CDog said you can never unlose to Geoff Collins. I guess you can hire him. Maybe that's a consolation. I said in the video, I guess if you can't beat a shitty coach, you can hire one. That's what North Carolina's done. That is the objective truth. Okay? I'm startled. I thought he would be relegated to podcasting with me instead of actually being anywhere near coaching football. Colby Covers says 07 UNC. I'm not sure what that means, but I will accept it. 2024 off to a fantastic start. Yes, it is. I'm okay not knowing who Tech's defensive coordinator is, knowing that you hired Geoff Collins, North Carolina. What are you doing? What are you doing? North Carolina said, I think I found a way out. It's not pretty, but it'll do. Tobias13, just laughing. Can you hear that? I'm not around a ton of Tech fans, but I can hear laughter in the distance. I can hear it. Didn't even finish the recent upload, had to jump straight into here. I did. And thank you, North Carolina. I'm sure that video will do well. I said in that video, I could have a PhD in, identifying Geoff Collins' bullshit. He is the minister of bullshit. I saw that comment. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Maybe some sort of if you can't beat them, hire them. I guess it's if you get blown out by a crappy coach, blow them. I don't know. Wahoo Brad. What's going on, Wahoo Brad? What's going on, buddy? Virginia man in the house. Glad to see you in here. I hope some North Carolina fans come in here. I would love. And I'm going to go on Twitter. We're going to read. I haven't even looked at what the response of their fan base is. And it's not me trolling. But how can you, as a North Carolina fan, be happy with this hire? Because he did okay at Florida and he worked under Saban. He didn't learn anything under Saban. All the great coaches that he was under, and other men he was under, from what I've heard. He didn't learn a thing from them. Wahoo Brad says, what would make this funnier is if he took over for Mac when he retires. Oh, my God. If that happened, I could die in peace. And I don't care how bad tech is during that time. If Mac Brown retires in the next 3 years, and by some miracle Jeff is a decent DC, and they promote him to head coach, I mean, the Grim Reaper could take me right there. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, I gave my life to Jesus when we beat North Carolina. I said, if we beat North Carolina during that live stream, I said, I will give my life to Jesus. And he has delivered. Hasn't he? Josh Wolf in the house. Good to see you in here. What's North Carolina's equivalent of Waffle House? Isn't Waffle House everywhere? Yeah, you better get a advertising deal or a sponsorship from Waffle House, because the dude is way more concerned with doing interviews in a Waffle House and holding a Waffle House cup than he is coaching football. Them's are facts. Josh Pittman, member of the channel, good to see you in here, says 4 in a row, gonna be an elite game. It is. Elite, high level, consistency. We will lose at an elite, high level at North Carolina. We will consistently way underperform what our expectation is. If you guys think you're underperforming now, just wait till I get a hold of your defense. My God. KS says, and that other DB that transferred there. Yeah, like Nate McCullum's there. Nate McCullum's like, man, I got as far away from you as possible. And you followed me here? You following me, bro? Josh Pate laughing and giggling with his feet up in the air, sending love messages to Colin as we speak. I guarantee you, mark my words, I would put money on this if someone was willing to be the bookie for it. Josh Pate will say this is a good hire. I guarantee you Josh Pate will say this is a good hire. He will fellatiate North Carolina and Geoff Collins for this hire. He'll say, look, I can't go into it, guys, but they didn't do what Georgia Tech didn't support Jeff in the right way, okay, man? And it's going to work out at North Carolina. Okay. I hope it works out. I do hope it works out well enough that they consider hiring him as their head coach when Mac Brown retires. Gavin Owens just laughing, clown emojis. Wahoo is in North Carolina? I didn't know that. If we lose to UNC next year, I'm going to lose my mind. I won't care. If we lose to North Carolina, it's because we lost 120 to like 111 or something. Whatever the nearest multiple of 7 is to those two numbers. It won't be because Geoff Collins coached a good defense. Buzz is in the house, says, unfortunately, me and Janae Thomas have been arguing on X about this. Janae is defending Collins with his life and calling Tech fans comical for talking trash about Collins. Well, I love Thomas, but what the hell does he expect us to do? Oh, yeah, I mean, first of all, Geoff Collins brought a lot of this trash talk on himself. I mean, the way Geoff Collins left Georgia Tech, and he clearly has some vendetta against us, even though he's $11.37 million richer for it. That's what's comical. I mean, love the kid, but, I mean, that's a horrible take. Griffin Fletcher says, sorry if I missed it, but does Tech still have to pay him? From how I understand contracts for coaches, let's say he's making $300,000 a year or something. I mean, it'll probably be more than that. I imagine part of the reason why North Carolina hired him is because they got a deal on him. I mean, I'm sure he was willing to take a lot less money because we're paying him. but our buyout should be reduced by whatever his contract amount at North Carolina is. So I hope that they paid. I hope he's making, $5 million a year there to be their DC. That would suit me just fine. Can't wait till we beat Chris S. Good to see you in here. Can't wait to beat UNC in Chapel Hill with Duke's defensive assistant. Yeah. And I said this in the video I just released. Like, Stan Tucci would have been an infinitely better hire than this. You could come up with 30 different names, and even if I haven't heard of 29 of them, those 29 guys would be a better hire. That's a fact. Thomas bashes the fans constantly and then wonders why we don't fill the stadium. Stan Garner, what's going on, buddy? Says, that Tar Heel baby blue is befitting of a bitch boy like him. Dang! A bitch boy. He is. I mean, Collins has trashed Tech fans. I mean, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Come to find out, guys, that if you are losing your company money in the millions and underperforming like 80% of what you're expected, they will fire you for that. They'll fire you for a hell of a lot less than that. And especially in college football, I mean, you're being compensated for the pressure you're being put under. Okay? He was such a bad hire, I should have said this in the video. We fired the guy that hired him. You imagine being so bad at your job, the guy that onboarded and hired you, they fired him too? Like, we got to give anything that has to do with you or contains the letter U has to go. That's how bad Geoff Collins was. Like, I don't think people understand that. You get what you pay for. Yeah, except if you're Georgia Tech with Geoff Collins. We didn't get what we paid for. Would anyone have been better? Anyone would have been better. Oh, yeah, 100%, Kevin Long. Literally anyone. I mean, all of your girlfriends would have been a better hire that know nothing about football. I know. I know they don't like you watching football. All right? They would have been better. That monkey that they launched to space, like the first animal in space or whatever, would have been a better hire. My shoelace would have... Should we just go through all the things that would have been a better hire? My shoelace would have been a better hire. Kirk Herbstreit would be a better hire. And boy, he's pissing people off lately. Yeah, launching Geoff Collins into space would be preferable. Collins is poison. John Burns says, yeah, I 100% agree. Rec, check our Twitter DMs. Check out the argument screen. All right, hold on. All right, let's go see what Buzz is talking about here. So this is him. I guess Montega Harrison. Did you see the defenses you were a part of? Oh, this is them going at him. He don't want to talk about that. He just wants to call us comical for criticizing the worst Georgia Tech head coach of all time. And I'll give a slight correction. He's not just the worst Georgia Tech head coach of all time. He's the worst head coach of all time. And then Thomas comes in. LMAO, y'all are under my post. Really don't want to talk to any of y'all. Ha 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 ha. Then why are you? Hey man, that's like calling up some ex, that you say you don't care about anymore. I just wanted to call you and say I hate you and I don't want to talk to you. Then why are you calling? If you're over it, why are you calling? Bud, and then Zach says, Bud reposting his own replies. Get out of here, bro. Thomas says, man, what? You want to follow back, little bro? Again, what I want you to notice, and anyone that would defend Geoff Collins, they're not going to talk about his coaching career. They're going to talk about how he's a nice guy, how players like him, how he's a good recruiter, how he likes tight pants, how he likes flat bills, and how he likes Waffle House. They're not going to talk about anything to do with football. Why would I want to follow you back? God, no. You're a Collins lover. Well, I mean, here's the thing. That might have been a bit far. But if you're going to swing at us, I mean, look, dude, you can't defend Geoff Collins. What do you want? Do you want Tech fans to be happy for what he did to our program and stealing $11 million from us? What are we supposed to do? There's 2 more. All right, hold on. Oh, you didn't send them, though. Let's look at what North Carolina fans are saying about this, because I'm interested. Appreciate it, Josh. Says, with the $5 super chat, says, Thomas is really acting like he was coached by Geoff Collins. That's a great point. Josh. Bro, you acting like this guy coached you. I got it right here. 104th ranked defense, 110th ranked defense, 110th ranked defense. You weren't coached here. Defense didn't play while he was here. And they might say, well, look, your defense was even worse this year. And your point is? So does that mean Collins is a good coach? No. Pool noodles. Man loves floppy noodles so much he whoops some out at practice. You can't defend that. Anyone who would think breaking out pool noodles at practice, running around and playing grab ass with them while people are like holding stick cutouts of players doesn't need to be anywhere around football. Nowhere around football. Let's see what North Carolina fans are saying. I'm assuming this is their official football. Yeah, 238,000 followers. Great hire. And look who's in here. Let me zoom in to make it a little more legible. Patient Veach. The GOAT. Good luck with that. Here's Louis Corrala. Congrats, coach. Happy for you. Louis, have you found a job yet, sir? You found a job yet? Oh, Cord Griggs. He's in here. Can't wait to beat him. There's more Georgia Tech fans commenting on the official North Carolina Twitter about this hire than North Carolina fans are. I think that tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? Oh, there are 2 more above that screenshot. We'll look at them in a second. Wait, y'all did what, bro? That makes me think, do y'all remember Russell Westbrook in that like famous interview? Did you lose or did they win? What, bro? Bro, what are you talking about? Man, this bitch is crazy. Tech man just laughing. Barley won. Go Heels. It's still the players that play the game. Never seen a coach play. Does this comment not tell you everything you need to know? He's basically saying, I know this is a crap hire, but Collins is not going to make plays for us. The players are. Good luck with that. Disaster Master says, does UNC want to keep losing to us? They do. They're addicted to it. Hey, man. Hey. Hold on. Let me switch screens. Hey, y'all got any more of them Tech losses? Y'all got any more of them Tech losses, man? I need to get some. Well, 3 ain't enough, man. 3's running out. I'm jonesing for a Tech loss. God almighty, dude. Like, there's really one fan base for as bad as Tech has been that is just easy to trash talk. And, I mean, it's North Carolina. That's how bad you are. And they have a picture of Geoff Collins. Appreciate it, Josh, with the $5 super. Says, my UGA coworkers buddies told me they hope Tech stomps that ass. Talking about North Carolina? UNC is our little brother. They are. Georgia fan in here. There's more fans of other fan bases commenting on this. This is how awful of a hire this is. This makes sense to me. Is he going to change the culture and bring us new players? Says Always Watching. You can hire whoever you want, but without a total change in the culture, nothing will be different going forward. Let me address Always Watching directly now. I'm talking to you directly, Always Watching. The answer is yes. He is going to change your culture. That's the good news. There's good news and bad news. Good news is he 100% will change your culture. He will bring you in new players. Here's the bad news. The culture's going to be awful. The culture will be one of that of losing and having horrible defenses. And the new players he brings in, once they get a whiff of the turd he's created, are going to transfer. So I think I actually, I think I should comment that directly. Let's go ahead and comment. Yes. Oh, hold on. I have good news and I have bad news. Good news. Oh, I only have so many characters, right? He will change your culture and bring in new players. Bad news. It will be a losing culture and the players he brings will transfer once they see how bad he is. Reply. He will talk a lot about culture and bring a lot of catchy slogans. Let's go back. A whole team of Jahmyr Gibbs. See what else they're saying. Carolina Blue Capri's gonna be sick. Yeah, I mean, there's only a handful. Kevin Ritt says maybe he can beat Georgia Tech. Wow, how embarrassing! Begging for a Tech win now. If you think Geoff Collins is going to be the guy, just because he blew out Mac Brown, don't mean he's beating Tech. I'm gonna tell you that. You're sadly mistaken, sir. You've been hitting the cocoa nut one too many times. I wish that there was like North Carolina fans commenting on here. I'm sure he'll have them executing at a quote-unquote elite level. God, they're just getting trolled for this. Why the hell can't we get a young defensive mind instead of these old, refurbished, washed-up ex-head coaches? Well, Jeff isn't old. I think he's about 50. To be a washed-up head coach, you'd have to be a head coach, and he doesn't really qualify. Yeah, no North Carolina fans care about this. Let's go to Colin's Twitter page. Look, immediately has his North Carolina stuff on here. Wow. So excited for Coach Collins. It was a pleasure getting to know him over the past season. Who the hell is this? What should I comment? And just go ahead. No, I don't want to get blocked by him. I want to keep up with what he's saying. This guy probably has a statue of himself and paintings of himself on the wall. Instead of watching pornography, because I'm sure like the whole marriage is a farce, he probably just gets off to like a photo of himself. That would not surprise me. Yes, I am great. Oh my God, I'm great. I'm so good. All right, let's check out the article. Let's see what like CBS and stuff is saying. Stan says he's blocked and he's proud of it. Oh, first, let's go back. Let's go back and see what these first two things were. All right, so Thomas says, man, came to Georgia Tech, didn't pan out, and now people done forgot how good of a defensive coordinator he was in past years. Comical fans. Yeah. You always know you've made a good hire when you have to go back a decade to find something you like about the guy. I mean, come on, man. You got to go back a decade to find something you like about that guy. He wasn't that good then. Get Wrecked in the house says, last year was my first year and I only started liking football through Tech, but I do know from the 4 games I watched, LMAO UNC. That is an advantage of Collins. You do not have to understand football to know he's garbage. That is an advantage. There's not a lot of – it's like in your classes, there's not a lot of prereqs to understanding Collins. All right. Zach says, love you, but the dude is the worst Georgia Tech head coach of all time. From the fans' POV, which I think stands for point of view. I'm not going to tell you how I know that specifically, but I've seen that before. And other people judging the program – all they see is 3 wins and back-to-back seasons, and then he gets fired in his 4th year. Georgia Tech fans will not forget the Collins era. However you pronounce this says, I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong, but you have to understand that your perspective is totally different from the experience of fans. Yeah, just because he didn't, cut my balls and tell me he wasn't ruining my career, that don't mean I have to like him. All right, M2 steps in. This is a tangled web we weave. GT Faithful says, I'm worried Collins knows how to stop a Tech offense. Don't be worried. Collins doesn't know how to stop anything other than your progress as a program. We'll be fine. M2 says, a lot of it is also how he acted towards the fan base. Yes. And this is, this is not me trolling. He has a serious maturity issue that you cannot overlook. The guy is a man-child. And that's what you hired as your DC, man. And it's not sour grapes for Tech fans. I could care less what Collins does now. I don't care. I'm looking out for you guys. Griffin Fletcher says, I guess that since he was head coach, he didn't have the time to coordinate the defense at all. Yeah, that'll probably be an excuse they give. Zach says, right, I don't agree with Janae at all here. Janae comes in. Ain't about agreeing, LOL. It's just facts. What facts? That he was good a decade ago? All right, yeah, he was decent a decade ago. And I can't believe a player has this perspective, man. Like, Janae Thomas is a phenomenal player. And Geoff Collins made him look like garbage at Tech because he didn't know how to coach defense. Why would you be defending the guy that made you look horrible? I mean, that's like if you're a beautiful woman and you're made to just wear, ugly clothes, have a ridiculous haircut, crazy makeup like Mimi from the Drew Carey show. Would you be happy with that manager? Like, what is wrong with these people? Zach says players and fans don't see it the same way. The dude is the worst Georgia Tech head coach of all time, and that is what fans will remember him as. So don't call us comical because we don't like the dude that brought us 3.5 years of torment. And we read the other part. Here's the thing. No one, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with what the Georgia Tech fans are saying. Again, you have to bring up a decade ago. Okay, here's the thing in college football. No one gives a crap about how a guy was a decade ago. If I'm hiring a head coach, I'm concerned with the last 2 years. That's what I'm concerned with, right? Anything else and I'm trying to justify what's probably not going to work out. Let's see what the media is saying about this. Give me 1 second. North Carolina hires Geoff Collins as defensive coordinator after 2-year stint with Gene Chizik. Here's the thing. You would have done better to retain Gene Chizik. You would have done better. North Carolina has hired former Georgia Tech head coach Geoff Collins as its next defensive coordinator. Collins has not coached since his mid-season firing from Tech in 2022. Isn't that suspicious? Every team needs a defensive coordinator almost. Every team that's struggling, I guarantee you they have defensive problems. So a defensive coordinator is a hot commodity, especially in like the last year or two. No one's wanted this guy in over a year. That should be suspicious. You have to ask yourself, if you're a North Carolina fan, why is that? You know, he's coached under Nick Saban before. Nick Saban runs like a rehab for reject coaches, develops them. Saban didn't want nothing to do with them. I'll tell you what, Saban rarely makes a comment about coaches. Who did he comment about? When they hired Brent Key. He commented about that, made a public statement about that. Hasn't said the first word about Geoff Collins. That's interesting. Who is saying this? This is Mac Brown. We couldn't be more excited to welcome Geoff Collins, his wife Jennifer, and their daughter Astrid to the Carolina football family, said Mac Brown in a statement. Geoff is a brilliant defensive mind. According to Geoff, again, anyone who nicknames themselves and talks about how great of a coach and coordinator they are, name me one really good head coach that feels like they have to provide their resume and demonstrate their accolades to you. Nick Saban, how often do you hear him talking about how great he is as a coach and how great of a defensive mind he is? As horrible as Urban Meyer was, I never heard him talk about how great of a coach he was. I mean, who are the preeminent head coaches right now? The coach for Washington, you don't hear him talking about how great he is. Geoff Collins is a brilliant mind. Oh, yeah, Geoff told us that once. You know, a lot of people would consider me one of the preeminent defensive minds in the country. No, Geoff, no one would consider you that. That's why North Carolina hired you. Let me bring on my boy here. Everybody, the man, the myth, the legend, Sea-Dog in the house. How you doing, sir?
Hey.
Why can't I? Oh, I can't hear you. If I don't have audio coming in, it turns my headset off. Sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
You good?
Am I good? I'm great.
I like how we both jumped on this and made videos about it right away.
Yeah, man, I've been kind of depressed. Like, what am I going to make videos about? There's not a lot going on. And then this happened.
I probably should have watched your video before I jumped on here, but I saw that you said it was second Christmas.
Yeah. In the chat, I said, Christmas came twice this year, and so did WreckTalk.
Only twice?
Well, I got on right after I found out, so I didn't have a lot of time.
That's funny. Yeah, we this is great.
Yeah, I've been talking. I've been looking for the North Carolina fan response, and I can't find any.
I can't either. I was looking too. I can't either.
Like, let me go find this. I don't know if you saw this. Let me see if I can find it.
I wonder what that Russ guy thinks of this.
He put out a video.
Oh, he did? We should get his expert opinion.
I wish he would come on here. I don't have his number or anything. We can go watch his video though, and react to it.
That would be great. That would be amazing if we could get Russ on here to discuss this groundbreaking news.
Look. Let me switch screens here. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Here, let me pull up YouTube, and I'll be able to.
Guess who retweeted the hire? I'll give you two guesses. No, take two guesses.
Who retweeted the hire of Geoff Collins?
Yeah, a prominent.
Josh Pate. I know, and he said Pate save material. I saw that.
I didn't even know that, and when we came on, I said, I guarantee you, anyone that would give me the bet, I would take it. Josh Pate will say this is a great hire for North Carolina.
The bar for Pate State material is so low right now.
Why? Because Geoff Collins blew you? That's why it's Pate State material?
Yeah, it's like, man, that is funny. I can't wait to hear how elite their defense is going to be. And Josh Pate, man, it's so funny, dude. It's just somebody commented, "Do you want Pate State to go 3-9?"
I'm gonna comment, "Wow, low bar to be Pate State material."
Yep.
They'll probably both block me now, but
Josh Pate won't block you.
Okay, that's good.
He's good at taking it.
Well, so is Jeff.
Apparently somebody shipped him a box of clown noses because he went 0-9 on his picks against Michigan and Washington this year.
Wow.
He kept picking them to lose, and they never did. So somebody shipped him a box of clown noses, and that's pretty funny.
Well, you know who has a box of clown noses that could have saved that guy money is probably Geoff Collins.
Yeah. I got to point out something really quick. Shout out to our buddy Zach. I love the rebrand. Rambling On with Zach Jones. That's way better than Buzz Talk. Rambling On.
I like it.
I like it, dude. Nice rebrand. It's a Led Zeppelin reference too, if I'm not mistaken. Very nice. Very nice. I freaking love Led Zeppelin. I don't know if that's what you're going for, but I love it.
I'm trying to find one specific comment. It's one of the few I've seen from a North Carolina fan. And okay, this is it. Tell me how low you have to sink to comment this. Go Heels.
It's like all Georgia Tech fans making fun of them.
Yeah. Go Heels. It's still the players that play the game. Never seen a coach play. I said that's everything you need to know about this hire.
Yeah. That is funny, dude.
Let me see. I got a notification. Yeah. Can you hear my video? Or do I need to put it on StreamYard?
Yeah, I can hear it. It's just delayed.
If I put it on StreamYard, is it delayed?
You can put it on StreamYard if you want to, or I can just watch it with a delay on YouTube. It's fine. Or I can just pull up the video.
Let me try and put it. I think this worked way better when I put this on StreamYard last time. I do want to react. By the way, I'm going to put a link to this video. I really, really like the Tar Heel huddle. He's almost to 1,000. And you know, if he's a North Carolina guy and I'm pitching him, he's doing something right. The dude really does do good work.
Yeah, he's got it going on. He's really good. He's a really good YouTuber.
He is. He's going to go a long way on YouTube, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man. He's like, it's not it's really cool to get on there and realize that nobody's talking about your team and then start making videos about it. I love that. And I wish more teams would do it. Honestly, when I got on here, I was surprised that there wasn't more of a variety of teams of people making YouTube videos about them. Like, the only ones I can think of, like us, off the top of my heads are like, it's like you have Georgia, like it's not even the big schools. You have like who's an Ohio State YouTuber, It's like, I don't know. It's just interesting, but
All right, let's listen.
Anyway.
Let's listen to what he has to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want none.
I think that was in reference to Geoff Collins. Don't want none.
You don't want none.
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian,
Cool sign.
Russ, the Tar Heel.
How much are those? We need to get one.
I can actually make those. I've made them before.
So when were you going to tell me that?
It's a pain in the ass, but I can do it. I'm not kidding you, dude.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I would do it. Obviously, I would make us one. But I had to do one for a job. I'm not fucking kidding you. And it was called. It said Bon Appetit.
What?
Yeah, like Bon Appetit, but it said Bon Appetit. I'm like, God dang, dude.
All right, I have to talk to you off stream. Not about that, but about the sign. All right.
I'm just like, I had to make that for my job. I was like, dude, this couldn't be less funny. But you know.
That must have been a Georgia fan wanted that. Like, hey, it's like Beavis and Bud. You know what it'd be cool?
This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
And in this huddle, we're going to talk about the newly acquired services for the North Carolina Tar Heels, a former head coach at Georgia Tech, Geoff. Stick with the script. What's going on, Tar Heel Nation?
All right, so we already that's a mistake. gotta edit that out.
Did he? Was that? He just forgot to edit that out.
I think so.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I do that too. If something goes wrong in my video, I just keep it in there because it's funny.
Yeah,
Like me yelling at my animals, which there's a cat that's freaking making noise in a box behind me. But
well, I'll edit it out, but that's because like I say some horrible. I get pissed.
oh yeah,
I get pissed.
I had one time I was sitting there with Cameron and he's eating like Taco Bell and he's crinkling the paper. And I'm like, will you quit crinkling? In the middle of the video, he's like, dude, he's like, I'm being quiet. I'm like, no, I'm filming a video. Shut up. Stuff like that. It gives your video a character. I love it.
I agree.
It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, we're going to talk about North Carolina's recent hiring of former Georgia Tech head coach Geoff Collins as the new defensive coordinator at Carolina. So there are a couple of things that we need to break down here to see what we have in our new defensive.
By the way, did they get this picture of him like the minute he was fired? He looks awful in this picture.
That's a picture from Georgia Tech, and they just slapped the North Carolina logo all over him.
But he looks like this was a picture taken from Central Florida when he knew he was about to get canned. Like his facial expression is not flattering.
Yeah.
Coordinator. But before we break down where Geoff Collins has been and what he's done there, let's take a look back at what the North Carolina Tar Heels are coming from. Now, North Carolina, since the return of head coach Mack Brown in 2019 to 2023, this is where we've ranked basically in points per game given up. 2019, UNC went 7-6. They gave up 23.7 points per game, which was good for 44th in the country. 2020, UNC went 8-4. They gave up 29.4 points per game, 65th in the country. 2021, UNC went 6-7. They gave up 32.1 points per game. Good or bad enough for 105th in the country. Those were all attributed to defensive coordinator Jay Bateman. 2022, UNC went 9-5. They gave up 30.8 points per game, 102nd in the country. That's obviously Gene Chiswick's first year. 2023, UNC went 8-5.
Okay, so that would cover the time that Collins was at Tech. I've already said it, but let me go over Tech's defenses while Collins was head coach in that time. And spoiler alert, he didn't do better than a single one of those seasons.
Damn.
2019, 104th ranked defense. 2020, 110th ranked defense. 2021, Control C, Control V, 110th ranked defense. 2022, the year we fired him, immediately better, 84th.
Yeah, it's funny too because literally the next week our defense was playing like insane. As soon as we fired him, our defense played 10 times better.
I mean, what are they doing, dude? What are they doing?
I don't know. Okay, so the reasoning I've seen this. We'll talk about this after. You can play the video.
Last year, they gave up 27.3 points per game, which was good for 75th in the country. And I feel like there's a little asterisk beside the 2023 campaign because the first half of the stinking season was lights and it was completely different than the second half of the season. I think at one point we were giving up like 17 points per game. And then at the end of the season, the last 6 games, it was something like 35 points per game. So you got to put a little asterisk right there because that was almost 2 stinking different seasons, completely bipolar. I ain't never seen that before, I don't think, man. So Jay Bateman's average rank was 71st in the country. And yes, we're not going to necessarily put all of that on him due to, his ability to hire and fire whoever he wanted on his staff. And Gene Chizik's average rank was 89th himself, which, for all intents and purposes, you could imagine that he may have had the same struggles, between him and head coach Mac Brown of who was going to be hired onto the staff. Nobody knows. But there obviously was a steady regression under Bateman. And it's really hard to tell with Gene because...
Boy, if you're ready, if you want a rinse and repeat of a steady regression, I think you're about to get one. And I think that he might do okay there for a year or two. Like, he might actually improve them, but it will not last. It will implode spectacularly. Like, before I hear his opinion, how do you think, realistically, Geoff Collins will do at North Carolina as their DC?
I was going to talk – I had that I just wrote it down to get my thoughts out before I forgot it. But I was going to ask the same thing, trash talk aside. Do you want to do that now or do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, let's see how well our expectation matches up to his before we hear this.
Yeah, because this is something to discuss. Trash talk aside, is there any way he can be successful? Well, he hasn't. I guess if you're trying to look, I saw somebody mention that he hasn't called plays defensively since 2017. So, apparently he was a pretty good defensive coordinator. Where was he at before he came here? Florida? He's at Florida, right?
What do you mean?
He was at Florida not before he came here, but before he went to Temple. He was the D coordinator. It was Mississippi State, and then Florida, and then Temple, and then Georgia Tech. I guess, I don't know. I never went back and looked at his defenses from then, but I will say this: he can recruit. I mean, I've never knocked him on his recruiting, but the thing is, North Carolina are experts at wasting talent. They've been recruiting. Recruiting's not where they're struggling. They have one of the more talented teams in the ACC. So it's not like they're hurting for talent. And I mean, Geoff Collins, when it comes to football operations, doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's got them chasing around with pool noodles. So they better not let him run anything that regards to that, because he will run it into the ground. And that he I'm gonna tell you one thing too. He has not learned a single lesson from Georgia Tech. I'm sure whatever he was doing, he will double down on it to prove that it was COVID's fault or Georgia Tech's fault for not giving him what he needed or whatever else. He's not learned any lessons. I guarantee you that.
I think that's a really good point. Like, for Geoff Collins to, if I take my, bias of him aside, for Geoff Collins to be a effective DC, he needs someone like Saban that is micromanaging the fool out of him and throwing out the 99 absolutely crap ideas he has and taking the one decent one out of it. If Mac Brown could do that, they wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah, the issue, though, is Mac Brown doesn't know what he's doing either. He doesn't barely know what year it is. He's the Joe Biden of college football. I mean, he's just senile and needs to retire, and this is just a recipe for disaster. This is like akin to Jimbo hiring Bobby Petrino in a desperate move, in a desperate attempt to do something to make some kind of improvement before he's fired. Or retired. He's about to be taken behind the shed and put down, old Yeller style. And this reminds me of when Jimbo did the Bobby Petrino thing. It seems like a final gambit.
Wow. David Turk has a good point too. Are they keeping the prior DC assistants, or is he responsible for hiring the DC staff?
That's a good question. Now I will say Geoff Collins hit on a couple hires. I mean, he hired Key, Winky, Marco Coleman. He also had some misses.
But on the defensive side.
Yeah, on the defensive side, I mean, he hired
Thacker, fired.
He hired Boogie too.
That's true. Boogie is marginal at Marshall now. He was good at Tech.
Right.
Tillman's fired. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the linebackers were like the shining star of. It was like the one bright spot on Geoff Collins teams. I mean,
and John Burns is true too, or not John Burns. David Turk, he hired Tashard Choice. So
That's true.
Got to give him credit there. But the comment of the year, and if this happened, oh my God, Jeff Sims to UNC. He convinces Mac Brown to take Jeff Sims.
My God, that would be incredible. I think Jeff Sims has probably tarnished his reputations too much. But if that happened, I would be over the moon, dude.
Well, I think that Jeff Sims knows there's no market for him. If he wants to go to another Power 5 school, he might go to UNC in a backup role. I don't know, with the promise.
Yeah, and I don't know what their room is looking like. Don't they have some young kid that's ready to take over the starting job? I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm sure they do. I mean, recruiting quarterbacks has never been a problem.
He could do the backup thing, and then
their starter gets hurt, and they have to put Sims in.
Or he could win the job because he's good in practice. That would be incredible.
Thank you.
Yes, subscribe to that, please. It would be, man. It's funny to watch another team self-destruct like this. I've been enjoying Miami do it. Now to get to see North Carolina do it is a treat. And then,
were you on when we were talking about what if this is the ideal situation? What if he does well enough that when Mac Brown retires, they promote him to head coach?
I don't think that there's anything that they could do. Like if they have like an amazing defense, I don't know. I don't think he can have an amazing defense. I mean, I'd be very shocked if he had like a good enough defense for them to hire him. I don't know. I think we're getting a little carried away.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Jeff Sims going there and him taking over as head coach. We basically just want to turn him into the 3-9 Georgia Tech again.
Well, I said this in my video. Like, do not think 3-9 or 4-8 is unrealistic. With
dude. Without Drake May, especially without Drake May, they're a 6-win team this year.
Well, he just laid it out. They haven't they were going 6-6, 7-6, or whatever.
With Sam Howell.
Yeah.
They went 6-6 with him. Then the next year, I think his last year, they did pretty well, or maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe that was Drake May's first year. But yeah, dude, Drake May's gone. Gone. You've squandered his entire college career, you've wasted it. And now you have no guarantees of whoever you're going to bring in. I hope to God it's Jeff Sims. That would be hilarious. Jeff Sims would come in there and get benched immediately, or after turning it over for the first 5 times in a game.
Mac Brown, hear me out now. This kid is an elite talent.
He's elite and high level.
Look at how his pads are tucked in on the shoulder. Do you see how cool that looks?
I sent out a tweet right before I jumped on the show. I was like, y'all just know Geoff Collins is on here reading all these tweets making fun of him, and he's like muttering to himself. He's like, I'm going to show him how elite I can be.
Well, I guarantee you part of him taking this job was I want to, like, stick it to Tech in some way. Like, I want to play Tech next year.
It's funny that he does that because he goes to the only team that we just completely own.
Yeah.
I mean, we own them, dude.
But the only team he has owned.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know, man. It's funny, though. And it's funny that he just chooses the team. Of course he chooses the team that I'm sure it was the only job he could get. This is definitely, like, the best job he could have got.
GT on top says Mac Brown did compare Jeff Sims to Vince Young in 2021. Is that true? Oh, my God. This might be more realistic than we thought.
I seem to remember that, but that was in 21. That was like that was a long time ago.
Well, to justify hiring Collins, you'd have to go back a decade. So I don't think going back to
21, Mac Brown made him look like Vince Young. I mean, we beat him 40-something to 20-something. So he was like, "Damn, that guy's good." and then he goes out and throw a pick six the first play of the game next week against Pitt. It's like.
Rambling on with the $2. Appreciate it, man. Says Gibson versus King in first 2024 home game.
That's true. Gibson and
GSU at Tech, and Gibson went there. Yeah.
Gibson transfers to State, which if he gets the starting job, if we get any kind of pressure on him, we'll be all right. He's a pocket passer, but he cannot scramble to save his life. He's very sedentary. But that's the issue with us is our D-line, so I don't know.
All right, let's hear the rest of this.
It was a tale of 2 different seasons in 2023. But let's look at what Coach Collins has done in his time as a defensive coordinator. Now, Coach Collins got his first defensive coordinator position at FIU in 2010. According to FIUsports.com, FIU averaged giving up 27.3 points per game, 169 yards rushing, and 199 yards passing for a grand total of 369 yards per game. Hey, we'll take that all day because it's been a while since we didn't give up 400 plus. FIU went 7-6, and that was the one season that Coach Collins was there. Now, he took a job as the co-defensive coordinator at Mississippi State in 2011. 2011, Mississippi State went 7-6. They gave up 19.7 points per game, which was good for 16th in the country. Obviously, we're talking about Mississippi State that plays in the SEC. 2012, he went 8-5. They gave up 23.3 points per game, 34th in the country. 2013, MSU went 7-6. They gave up 23 points per game, 33rd in the country. And then in 2014, MSU went 10-3. They gave up 21.7 points per game, which was good for 23rd in the country. And this is the year where everybody says that he earned the nickname, the Minister of Mayhem.
He didn't earn the nickname. He branded himself.
He gave himself a nickname.
Isn't that also where he couldn't figure out Paul Johnson in the Orange Bowl?
Yes,
2013.
Dude. Yeah. Oh, he administered some freaking mayhem to our program. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we'll have to correct. I'll have to reach out to Russ and be like, "Hey, man, I know like I wouldn't have been able to do this deeper research. Like to be fair to you, he gave himself that nickname."
Yeah,
though.
I really wish that we were playing them at home this year because that would be a great.
We would start a chant. for like
to see him have to come in here, and we starting a chant, and to see the crowd more packed than it ever was under him, and it would just be incredible. And I was mentioning too, what's disappointing is that we're not going to play UNC that much anymore.
Okay, to be fair, he had left for Florida when we played him in the bowl. So to be fair, he wasn't.
Oh, he did. Okay,
he wasn't there. Geoff Collins champs would go crazy 100%.
Did you see the signs that said THWG to hell with Jeff?
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In 2014, MSU had the SEC's #1 red zone defense. Then he takes the DC job at Florida in 2015. 2015, this is where it just kind of picks up. 2015, Florida went 10-4. They gave up 18.3 points per game, 11th in the country. And then in 2016, he went 9-4. Florida went 9-4. They gave up 16.8 points per game, good enough for 6th in the country. And then
I think that was under Jim McElwain, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, because it was McElwain and then Mullen.
Yeah. Okay.
Takes his first head coach job at Temple.
What was that?
And then Sunbelt Billy.
Oh man. It was Jim McElwain then Mullins.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then Sunbelt Billy.
Sunbelt Billy.
He amassed a 15-10 record at Temple, and then he goes to Georgia Tech and takes.
Yeah, we gloss over that, and I know why he glosses over that. 15-10, and he inherited a pretty talented Temple team that was built from the ground up by who?
Matt Rule.
Yeah.
By Matt Rule.
And he did worse every year with them.
I think he won 8 games the next year and then 7 the next year.
Yep.
Over the stinking helm, and it was not pretty. 10-28 as the head coach at Georgia Tech, including going 7-19 in the ACC. And I put that there just so we have a good basis of what we're looking at, right? So as a head coach, not very successful. If
what do you mean not very successful? Awful, worst coaching. When was the last time Tech fired a head coach? Bill Lewis?
Yeah, he was worse than Bill Lewis, man.
What year was that?
That was right after the Natty, right?
Yeah, like 93.
93, yeah.
Think about that. What is that? 20 years? 30 years. It's been 30 years since we fired a head coach.
Yeah, we're a lot like Virginia Tech. Like, we just don't do that. It's like we stick with our guy. But when you're literally the worst coach ever.
No, Chan Gailey. Chan Gailey was fired.
Oh, that's right.
But still, when was he fired? 2007? So you got to go back like 20 years?
Yeah.
Man.
2007 was not 20 years ago. 15 maybe. Closer to 15.
All right.
A big picture look at it. But as a defensive coordinator, Geoff Collins has been a part of some fairly successful teams. So don't necessarily just look at those head coaching numbers and let them completely throw you through a loop. Sometimes being the head man is just not your bag, bro. There are times when someone fits better.
That would be a fair assessment, okay? And that's what I would think if I didn't know just how bad his coaching was.
Yeah.
And that he, like we talked about, he needs someone that is going to not allow him to pull out pool noodles at practice and stuff.
We've had a lot of things come out about what kind of program he was running up there. And that's why I was saying, like, do not let him be in charge of anything like football operations, because he's going to have him chase around with pool noodles and home run derbies.
Going out for ice cream, and he's not going to be critical of anybody. He's not going to tell you the truth. Like, you got to be told the truth. Like, if you're playing bad and you need to improve, like, you need to be told that. And Geoff Collins will not do that for you.
Think about, like, we never saw Jeff Collins like get mad at anybody or get on to anybody. Think of how many times we've seen Key do it.
Well, we saw Jeff Collins get mad at people. It was just fans and not players.
True.
In a coordinator role, such as may be the case at UNC with Geoff Collins. Now, here's Coach Brown's statement according to CBSSports.com in reference to the hiring of Coach Geoff Collins. We couldn't be more excited to welcome Geoff Collins, his wife Jennifer, and their daughter Astrid to the Carolina football family, said Coach Mack Brown in a statement. Jeff is brilliant defensive mind. Jeff is a brilliant defensive mind who has been successful at a number of different locations as both a head coach and a coordinator. His experience shows that he knows what it takes to lead the men in our program, and he'll utilize that experience for the benefit of our defense. We were blown away when we interviewed Jeff.
I believe that.
I did too.
Tell the people about that. Give me 1 second.
Well, he's a used car salesman. I'm sure they were blown away. I'm sure he came in and sold them delusions of grandeur about how they're going to be back in the ACC title hunt and how they're going to have game day there. And I'm sure that they told them that they were going to be elite and high level, and they freaking fell for it. No doubt in my mind.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Look, we've all been hoodwinked before.
Yep.
So I don't necessarily fault you for that. But this is as impressed with him as you're ever going to be. And I hate to say it. I mean, oh, man.
Was unbelievably prepared.
In fact, I've said this.
He's unbelievably prepared for the interview, probably because he's been sitting on his ass.
Well, I bet you no one interviews better than Jeff. And I said this when he was fired, like, look, he'd be a great agent. Like if you're about to have to negotiate your salary, contact Jeff Collins. He'll get you paid. But as far as coaching, it ain't gonna happen.
Watched all of our games, knew our personnel, and pinpointed the items he'd implement to improve our players and the defensive unit as a whole. I can't wait to get Jeff and his family to Chapel Hill and get to work. Those are great words to hear from the head coach. The fact that he was unbelievably prepared, that he knew our personnel and things that he wished to implement is great, if that's all true. Obviously,
it's not. Well, I mean, he probably does know your personnel. He's unbelievably prepared for the interview. Unfortunately, he's not prepared to play football. Like, he's not going to have your team or defense prepared to play. Mm-hmm. I've never seen teams that were as unprepared as our team was under Geoff Collins.
Yep.
It's bad.
True.
It's bad. And look, if you're a North Carolina fan and you're watching, and you might not be because it pisses you off what we're saying, comment in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from North Carolina fans. I'm sure Slim Shady Kane's in the house. I'm sure he's thrilled with this hire for North Carolina.
Coaches are going to say all the right things in these instances, to get everybody on board. But let's talk about what your boy thinks about this hire.
Yes.
Now, if I'm being completely honest, it completely took me by surprise when I get online. Because I had a buddy tell me, hey, listen, we just hired a DC. He knew before I did. I get online and I see that it's Geoff Collins. It took a second to process. I'm not.
This is why I love Russ, because that is the correct response. Like, that's how I would feel. Like, he's being honest. Like, this took me by surprise. Yeah, let me decode that. I'm not thrilled with this hire.
I'm not gonna lie, because I would have never foreseen that coming. But I have to say, if you get to know or you watch a couple of his interviews and you kind of like look at how Geoff Collins interacts with the media, how he interacts with his players, et cetera, it's way different than Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik is kind of like in all due respect, Gene Chizik is not the most fun guy to listen to talk during an interview. Geoff Collins is the complete opposite of the spectrum. Wildly entertaining. The guy.
Go ahead.
This guy's never seen a Geoff Collins interview. I was so sick of listening to his interviews. He interviews really terrible. Like the what was that? The press conferences, dude.
Yeah,
they were unwatchable. They were unwatchable, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it will get you excited the first 2 times, but the 20th time when you're, at best having the 80th ranked defense and he's telling you how great everything is, it's going to wear thin. Mm-hmm. Rambling on with the $5 says, Wreck, Collins' left nut would have walked in there with a hat and a vest on, and Mac Brown's old ass would have fell for it. Like you said, Joe Biden of college football. I didn't say that.
I said that.
C-Dog said that. Yeah, let's hear the rest of it.
Guy is high energy and extremely personable. He's a pretty good evaluator of talent.
No.
Pretty good.
And who said it? GT on top says, Jahezel Lee. Do you remember him?
Let me see how it's spelled.
Jahazel. Anyways, Lee and Tobias Oliver
Jahezel Lee. No, I don't.
Were NFL caliber defensive players, according to Scooter. Yeah, he also told us Antonius Clayton was a phenomenal player, and I think his player evaluations are just completely garbage, but we'll see.
And I mean, everybody says that this guy used to have like a 24-pack of Mountain Dew under his desk, and he used to smash like 5, 6, 7 a day. I mean, the guy's just like just high on caffeine all the time, dude. Just go, 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 go.
Let me tell you this: when you're talking about the guy's, beverage choices, you messed up in this hire. You messed up. I mean, have you seen this guy smash Mountain Dews? Hell, I smashed an entire pizza in 5 minutes. That don't mean I'm qualified to coach nothing, though.
I know a guy, my boss, he used to frame houses when he was 19, and he drank Mountain Dew instead of water, and he got kidney stones at 19.
I don't want to hear that because I do smash about, 15 Diet Cokes a day.
You better be careful, man. You're going to get kidney stones. There's no joke. A freaking sharp, hard rock coming out your pee-pee.
And let me tell you something. This is why I'm scared of it. Because this is the one instance where being more well-endowed is not to your advantage. Because it's a longer trip that Shard has to make. It's going to be painful for old Rick.
Oh, my God.
Go. And you know what? Is that necessarily the worst thing for Carolina? I would say that it's not. Some high-energy guy that's going to come in here and just get people zipping around, dude. I think it's something that we need, and I'm really anxious and interested to see how it plays out. So I expect this defense to immediately, with Geoff Collins over there, play with more passion and pride. If they take on his persona in any way, shape, or form, which is obviously what I think we really need coming from the sideline. But what does...
And when you're talking about playing with pride and persona, again, I think you've just made the wrong hire. Like, you have to focus on non-football things to justify Geoff Collins. Like, yeah, they're running around with energy, biting on the play fake. It doesn't matter how intensely you're running around if you're not reading the play correctly. And that was the problem with Geoff Collins. I get the guy was a good defensive coordinator back in the day. The game's changed a little bit since he was a DC.
That's true. And his defenses were horrible at Georgia Tech. So
yeah.
Tar Heel Nation.
Literally, as soon as he was fired, it was like 100 times better.
It was 100 times better, and you're not going to be able to play with pride when you're losing. I mean, and that's what Collins did.
I'm genuinely interested. So put it down in the comment section. How long does Geoff Collins have to make this thing work? And what are your expectations of Geoff Collins in the first year? If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a member of the Huddle Hooligans to support
The Huddle Hooligans. All right.
said channel.
Yeah, y'all be sure to support him. He's a good creator.
He is, man. Like, I'm subscribed to him. I can prove it. I even have the notification bell on. Yep. He even knows basketball. I'm not sure what basketball is, but he's really big into it. So if you're a basketball fan, you should definitely check him out. Okay, we'll get this off the screen now and stop screen. And I think that gets our proportions better on my StreamYard. But, I mean, what your expectation for one is, I don't know what they're ranked in defense this year, but it's got to be better than what you had last year. That's your expectation, and you got to have probably they're looking to win the ACC next year.
Yeah.
So your question has got to be, is a Geoff Collins-led defense going to take you to the ACC championship? Mm-hmm. I don't think it is, because yeah, go ahead.
Clearly, neither of us are going to have any faith in them. So I'm interested to see, honestly, because it's just very curious as to like what, everybody says, but his defense is well. We're about to find out, and he has taken over a tough situation there because their defense is putrid.
I'm going to comment.
They got a couple of our old players there, don't they? I know they got Derek Allen.
Yeah, they have some defensive players. They have, they have Derek Allen.
They have Nate. So they got a couple of our players, don't they? Not Nate's not defense, but
yeah, they do have a couple of our players. This would be my question: how long before Russ realizes what we already know?
I think it'll be clear from the beginning to us, but whenever your team makes a hire, you want to believe in it,
Yeah.
But I think it'll be clear to us. I think we'll probably be able to tell. But I don't know. The North Carolina, the past couple years, I specifically remember in the beginning of the season, they looked pretty competent on defense. Like, remember this year they started looking good on defense and then, like, spiraled downward.
Yeah.
I think their strength of schedule in the beginning of the year was not very good. They were playing like an FCS team, and then they played like Minnesota, and we're like, damn, they held Minnesota to 10. Well, turns out Minnesota doesn't score more than 10 points all season. So,
yeah,
but.
Well, this has certainly been entertaining. This is going to. I'm a little bit giddy for next season. All of a sudden,
yeah, me too.
I'm really going to be paying close attention to North Carolina in a way I haven't in past seasons.
Me too.
Be on the lookout. I'm sure the next Josh Pate live stream or video will be saying that this was a great hire.
Oh, they'll get a mention. No doubt.
In fact, Geoff Collins will get more of a mention than Brent Key ever did. I'm willing to predict that.
The only time I've heard him mention Brent Key is when he said that we should have hired Riley Fritz instead.
Well,
then when he was like, when we beat Miami, and he was like, now hats off to Brent Key and everything. And he's like, okay, now that that's over, we can talk about Miami. It's like, damn, dude. Now I will give him credit. He said that we were a good program recently, so that's a step in the right direction. But I need to hear some more praise for Key from him. He's been fading us for too long.
He has. He's been because he knows that it makes his Collins take look horrible. Right. I think that's a lot of what it is. He's
literally like Stansberry.
Yeah.
He's acting like his job rides on it.
It's bizarre, man. Well, we're at 9:20. I know it's Friday night. What do you got going on, man? What do you need to say to the people?
Me? I don't know. I'm just making videos. I'm gonna make a video soon talking about recruiting and transfer portal and stuff. And that's about it. I don't got a ton going on. I'm kind of glad the season's over. I know that sounds horrible to say, but I mean, obviously I love watching football, but it's tough doing my house and doing this at the same time. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can get the house done and I'll be full strength by next football season. That's my goal.
I heard that.
I won't have to kind of balance, because this season I was having to like balance building my house and watching football. It's like
It's
I'm
rough.
having to deal with something, every other day. So hopefully next season I'll be full strength. That's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah, I know. Excuse me. We said it on the ACC show, but like this has been an emotionally draining season. So I'm kind of glad that it's over for
this
that.
season took 2 years off my life minimum.
Yeah, I mean, this was way worse than smoking cigarettes or anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it took years. It took years off our life. Now, C-Dog and I will be streaming the national title game Monday, so that should be a ton of fun. Hopefully, all you guys show up. And yeah, man, with that, we'll bring the show to an end.
Look at this cat. It's a stray cat. I just let her in. Look how comfy she is. She's just made herself at home.
That's awesome. I'm
in my laundry. I'm in the laundry room right now. I moved out of the camper because I was over it.
So you're in the laundry now.
It's a mess in here, but it's better than being in a camper.
Nah, man. I get it. I actually went. I think now I'm actually. Our daughter is gonna get. I said our daughter, like her mother's in here, or it's between you and me.
We're the alternative couple.
My daughter, I think, is now going to get a kitten and a puppy at the same time.
What?
Yeah. So I'm hard out on the look. She wants a orange kitten, and I'm not sure about the dog yet.
Wow, dude. That's crazy. So they're going to be like friends?
Yeah, that's the idea. Like, get them around the same time.
Yeah, if you do that. Okay. Well, I know a girl that she's the cat hookup, if you want me to get you. And she's a tech grad. So
Does she have kittens?
I can get you. Yeah, dude. She runs her own rescue.
Okay, yeah, definitely
I'll
give me
see
her
if she's
contact.
got any orange ones. She's constantly like fostering them and everything else. So.
Well, all right. Well, guys, I appreciate you showing up. We'll see you guys Monday. Y'all have a great weekend. And if no one's told you today, WreckTalk loves you.